poker peeps? It's the Hatter. And in today's hand, this hand's coming from online, and it's a buddy of mine, and it's a pretty interesting spot. And I'm going to give my analysis of what I think, but y'all go ahead and give him some feedback, because maybe I'm not right here. Me and him discussed it a little bit, but we're going to jump right in. Like I said, this is online, 50 cents, $1. My buddy is pretty deep. He's at 309, and we'll jump right in. So the undergun's going to fold. He has pocket queens. He's going to go ahead and open up to 3x, which is fine. I'm with it. Cutoff folds. The button flats. Small blind's going to get out of the way. And now the big blind with 102 starting stack, he's going to go ahead and come into. So the flop comes ace, 9, ace. I mean, this is how it always goes when you have kings or queens. Ace hits the board. But you can't be too afraid of it. Now, it is kind of sketchy because we're going three ways, and it's a little bit more likely someone might have an ace or a raggedy ace, especially in the big blind. But we really never know. So the big blind checks. My buddy, he's going to go ahead and continue here for half pot. I'm good with it. I mean, you could bet because you don't want to just look like you're scared of the ace. But if you had trip aces like ace, king, would you be betting here with it? No real draws out there. So, I mean, it is what it is. Like I said, you could either check and try, because you'd probably trap with ace king. These are my thoughts. I mean, it could be a bet or a check here is fine with me. So the button gets out of the way, and now the big blind calls. All right. So now the 7 of hearts rolls off, and this is where the hand gets kind of interesting. So when the small blind checks, I think we need to really think about what could he have on ace, 9, ace. Now, he could definitely have a 9 and be calling. That's believable. But even if he had like 9, 7, I mean, any pocket pair higher than a 9 is going to counterfeit his hand. So, and there's no draws. I mean, it was a rainbow board on the flop, so it ain't like he has many draws. So when he checks, and my buddy's going to go ahead and continue for half again. And at this point, this is where the big blind springs what is either a trap or it's hard to find bluffs here, to be honest with y'all. It really is. And he's going to go ahead and put in a raise. And this is kind of where me and my buddy talked about it. I said, now he could be doing this with an ace. I mean, it's hard to think. I mean, pocket 9s is a possibility, maybe, but he might be 3-betting them from the big blind. But he could be calling. He could have floated with 7s. I mean, that's a possibility. I mean, he calls with 7s there and floated, and then he hit a full house on the turn. But, I mean, we're really reaching here. This really does look like an ace. I mean, I don't really see... I mean, you could have like maybe 9, 10 of hearts, some type of combination with a 9 and another heart, and he's trying to rep, try to bluff with the flush draw. But, I mean, that's kind of sketchy too because of a paired board. So these are all the things, but my buddy decides to call. I don't really like the call here because if we're going to call here, we almost have to be committed that we don't believe he has an ace, and if a heart doesn't roll off specifically on the river, we're going to call his river jam if he jams. Because when he makes this raise, he's pretty much saying that he's going all in on the river. And I think this is what I was telling my buddy. If you call here, you got to be ready for the river jam, and you got to have a plan. And you got to know if this card comes, I'm going to call. If one of these cards come, I might find a fold. But pretty much with the stack sizes and stuff, as you'll see here in just a second, when he makes the call and we go to the river, there's 77 in the pot. It's a little less than a pot size shove for the big blind. And now my buddy's got 77 in the pot, 65. He is going to throw the raise all in. And now my buddy, when you call it a turn, it's hard because the 6 of clubs shouldn't really bring in anything. It really shouldn't. It shouldn't change anything that was already at the turn. So he goes deep in the tank. He ends up folding here. And I think the decision to either call or fold or get it all in is on a turn. Because once you call, you know the river jam's coming. So you got to make a decision on the turn. Y'all tell me, is my thought process that I'm telling him somewhat correct? What would you do on the turn? Because the turn's where you really got to make a decision, I believe. And if you do call on the turn, do you go ahead and call off on the river? Give me y'all's thoughts, and he'll be looking and checking them out too. Hatter out. See y'all tomorrow.